wanted to create an environment where everyone felt welcome. So whether it was the gender neutral price list, or whether it was the decor and the way that we tried to kind of make it feel inviting, and it's our space that we wanted to create, with all the things that we love, like the vintage and the retro stuff. We love vinyl,
all analog.
Got like our VHS player.
VHS.
Yeah, that's cool.
Beers, coffee,
rock and roll.
We got started in Southeast Asia, funny enough.
Right.
So what was that? About 3-4 years ago, we decided, since we're from different countries, the easiest way for us to be together was to just like pack up and move to a different country.
Go traveling instead of having to worry about visas and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So we just bought a one-way ticket to Bangkok, and since we were both hairdressers, we decided to bring our equipment, buy motorcycles, and just travel around Southeast Asia for as long as we could. Yeah. So that's how we came up with the idea, cut and run, and did all of, the branding and everything.
I was going to ask about the name.
Yeah, it's because it was kind of like a mobile, initially it was like a mobile hair salon on motorcycles in Asia. That was it.
Right.
We did that for just under a year, and then we came back. We weren't back very long until we sort of stumbled upon the yard and Andrew and the motorcycles, and it was just chance really. Andrew, we got talking, he showed me this room, and very quickly we were just like, okay, we're going to start a shop here, and it just seemed to work for us, the motorcycles and like what we've been doing in Asia, and then Bolt, and it just kind of came together really, really naturally and very oddly easily.
Very organically.
I think it's the word.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a hair salon, and we classify ourselves as a gender neutral hair salon. It's a space that is welcome to anybody and everybody. We don't discriminate with our price structure. We just have long and short haircuts. We don't have men and women haircuts.
Just take gender out of the equation.
Which is a good step, right? Because women's prices have always been much higher than men's.
That's correct.
Even like regardless of length hair, which doesn't make sense because that's what you're actually working with.
Exactly. You run into a lot of problems, as a hairdresser, when it comes to this stuff, to gender, because you may have a guy like me comes in and gets a haircut, and either you're charging him less money, but you're spending more time dealing with his longer hair, or you charge him as a woman's price. If you're charging, a woman's price to a man or a man's price to a woman, people can get really funny about that as well. And it's a weird complication.
It's an unnecessary conversation.
It's an unnecessary conversation. Short and long is good enough. There's always a grey area when it's like, do I have short and long hair? But ultimately, it makes life a lot easier, and everyone's a lot happier. And
I get a lot of clients who come to me with ideas, and I really like that. It's one of those spaces where we just want, a judgment-free, be as creative and, feel free to come with me with your ideas, and we'll kind of create something and use that as like a canvas of expressing yourself the way you want. And I really like that.
When we first opened the salon, we opened it already knowing that we wanted it gender neutral. To do a gender neutral price list, and it was always our idea to do it. And I think that initially we sort of thought, who are we? We're just a small business, and we're just two hairdressers starting a business, and we didn't really feel that that we were such a big deal or doing anything. Ultimately, what you realise is that it's a lot harder for, I think, bigger businesses to change their structure, their kind of business model, and it's a lot easier for a smaller business to go out on a limb and do something, and if it doesn't work, you can kind of change it. The bigger you get, the harder I think that gets to do. So you realise actually smaller businesses are the wave of change. They are the ones that create, because all of us together will create this. And there's more of us across London now happening. It's still weirdly a small number of salons. Like in North London, I don't know of any others particularly.
There's one or two. There's one or two.
There's one in Shoreditch I can think of, and
there's one in Hackney.
So like you're talking about, for the amount of hair salons,
I'm trying to figure out
for the amount of hair salons, there's a very limited amount of them around. But you're right, it is weird that we're having that conversation in 2021. I think it obviously is a big conversation at the moment with gender, and I can see why it's happening now. It's weird that it hasn't happened sooner, considering the hippie movement, guys with long hair, girls with short hair, and all this kind of stuff. The hairdressing industry is a strangely conservative industry, and it does feel slightly, it's weird to feel that you're doing something so extreme in a fashion industry, in a hairdressing industry. I think it would have been done before.
It seems radical, and at the same time, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, bizarre. How strange.
I think there's been a new wave of appreciation for hairdressers during lockdown. A lot of people, I think maybe it was one of those life things that you do and you don't really think about or necessarily put too much focus on until you remove that aspect of your life.
You don't know what you've got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And how much of a skill it is, you know, especially for those who try to do home hair and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I've tried that.
You're right, yeah.
On myself.
Yeah, exactly. Which the majority have. So when we were allowed to come back for those periods of time, people were exceptionally gracious and appreciative of us being open. And I think in another way that was really unexpected and just happened to be, you know, fortunate for us, is that the way this pandemic's worked is it's affected the more business and like city central type of places the most.
Right. Yeah.
And so everyone who was normally traveling to their offices are now working from home, and we happen to be a salon in a suburb, basically, a residential neighborhood. So we ended up doing really well from it. So all the people who are now working from home are finding salons in their areas. And really, when we were allowed to reopen, our books were so much more full, and you know, the demand was so much higher because there's so many more people in the area now. Online presence has been really important for us. Our Instagram has been, I would say, a huge factor for us in being able to show our work without, you know, having that shop window. And it's made a big difference, and I think especially now because you can put a brand and you can put an image and create it whatever way you like online, you know, for the viewer's pleasure. And you can kind of, you know, tailor it and alter it in whatever way you want. And so, we wanted to make sure it was, you know, it was bright and vibrant and creative and gender neutral and, you know, rock and roll.
Tera had a clear idea of what it, you know, when she came over a year and a half ago, she had a clear idea of what she wanted to be doing every day. And so she built that image through the images she was putting onto Instagram, and she now does exactly what she wants to do. Well, I'll be honest, when we first opened the salon 2.5 years ago, I was really anxious because it was such a gamble to me. You know, it was just a room down the street, up the back, round the stairs, above a shop. You know, it was.
How are we going to build?
How are we going to do this? You know, and then luckily Tera's an artist, so she does. You know, you were talking about the door paintings, the A-board paintings, the paintings out here, even the images that we use and stuff. And luckily she does that stuff for us, which is amazing. And so we've got the A-board that goes on the street and all that stuff. But really, it was online, and we realised that really quickly that was going to be our shop window. You know, Instagram was going to be our shop window. That was how people were going to know we were here.